Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello. So here we are at the changing rooms, the Parish Church St Augustine's in Rugeley. So thank you for inviting me over.
You're very welcome.
So maybe you could tell me a little bit about the project and how it came about.
Yeah, shall I start? Okay. Basically, the Changing Rooms has been going for nearly 4.5 years now. It was launched in February 2018, and it was launched after a series of circumstances that basically unfolded. I was fairly new in the parish at that time. My background is in health development anyway, and once I had started here, we did some workshops with the congregation and members of the wider community to figure out what are the needs, what are the issues that the church could engage with proactively as it seeks to work out its mission and purpose. And one of the things that came out of workshop was from the lived experience of people who had, at some time in their lives suffered or were still suffering from poor mental health. And that became a very strong theme very quickly. There was, in the middle of 2017, I did 4 funerals for people who had committed suicide in the space of 2 months. And Rugeley is not a big place, but there is no direct NHS provision. And on that basis, we started thinking about, well, what could we do? And through a series of circumstances that revealed themselves, we came across Carla, the lovely Carla, who is a very experienced professional psychotherapist with a private practice in Rugeley. And I did an internet search for people like you online to find out, who are the allies, where do I turn? And we had a series of conversations that resulted in Carla coming to talk to the PCC, the Parish Church Council, Parochial Church Council, about her work. And the question was posed, well, what could we do as a church, as a parish, because we're more than one church in this parish, to be part of the answer? And Carla's fantastic answer was, well, give me a room. And we've got 2 vestries. And in February 2018, Carla, I don't know how it was for you.
I had that phone call. I had one phone call, and my life changed.
I'm so sorry.
In a good way.
In a good way. In a good way, yeah. February 2018, we started, 6th of February, and just one room and me.
And that room was the choir vestry. And we were thinking about, what do we call this? And a choir member said, oh, well, the choir vestry is the changing room, because that's where we put our choir robes on. And so Changing Room, the name was born. Carla was the sole counsellor for the first few months, started through your contacts, and later on contacts with local universities who are training counsellors, who, once they graduate, they need experience, they need hours before they get their final ticket. And so now, having gone from one counsellor, Carla, 4.5 years ago, we've now routinely got a team of counsellors.
We got 6 students in their final year, master's degree, diploma degree, and then we have behind us, we have another 4 or 5 counsellors, qualified counsellors, who very kindly, very experienced ones, at different levels, and who very kindly give us 2 or 3 hours a week to help us out with the more complicated cases.
Fabulous. So it's all done in a very professional manner, and to the best professional guidelines and everything else.
So we drew up a contract with the church just to reimburse St Augustine's for the use of the rooms, the heat and light, and so on. You contract with each client. And yes, it's all done in a very safe, professional sort of way. And I think, we've thought over the last 4 years about, well, where do we take this? And we all live in this intoxicating culture of success and growth. It has to grow, has to grow. And I've been around long enough to know that actually you can grow something without simply expanding what you've already got. And so, and being a parish priest and having been out there in the big wide world prior to that, that actually a really good model is one of replication. So here's a parish, started something, it happened through particular circumstances. Some are unique to the circumstances we are in, others are more general and would apply in lots of other parishes. And so the idea that other parishes might see this and might understand, and we've had a proper review done and published, and that's available as a kind of toolkit, a learning exercise in the steps that we took and the process. So we're thinking, well, you know, we contacted your good selves at Transforming Communities Together, thinking what's the vehicle for replicating this, for getting it out there. For me, health in its broadest terms, and we are all used to a model of health which is medicalized. You know, we walk into our doctor's surgery and our GP sees us as an issue, a problem that needs to be fixed clinically. But actually, we all know from the Bible, from common sense, that health is actually about well-being. It's about, you know, we would trace it back to the idea of shalom, being an integrated and holistic approach. And so when this emerged as an opportunity, for me, it was absolutely spot on for the mission, our mission as a parish church to engage with our community. Now, there have been challenges along the way, as you can imagine, but it's been an absolute joy to see it unfold and to hear the stories. I mean, Carla regularly regales us with accounts of people whose lives have been changed in a really profound way.
Yeah.
And actually part of it, strangely, because I was anticipating, you know, it's the choir vestry, it's in church, and surely there are people from that big secular world out there who will object to coming into church for counselling. Nobody ever.
It's a lovely atmosphere, isn't it? And people have positive connections with the church, and I think it gives people a sense of place and space. And you were sharing that people come, and even if they can't afford to pay, we'll talk a little bit perhaps about that in a moment, but people bring and contribute. They bring flowers, they bring eggs, and there's a sense
and
of
money sometimes.
yeah, and money, always helpful. But I think that's important. It's not a sort of anonymous service provision. No. It's a community embedded,
and it's about the heart.
Gift,
and I think it's, and Carla, you know, we say to one another, it's all about the people, don't we?
It's all about the people, and it's the heart. You work from the heart, and as you talk, one of the differences is that it's not a clinic. So people come into a space which is totally different from anywhere else, and that's why we see ourselves as being actually very unique. People come in here, there's no white coats, there's no registers, there's no, you know, waiting rooms. You know, there's just, and you come and sit down here by us.
And those circumstances are not unique to St. Augustine's. They are the gift of every single parish church.
Yes.
And what we, who are leaders in the church, need is to put our imagination on steroids. We absolutely have got to reimagine how churches engage with the community, because otherwise, you know, the world is in such a mess at the moment, and the levels of anxiety and depression and loneliness and isolation, and yet every parish has often multiple places. We've got 6 across the benefice here that are potentially places of real healing. That's our rhetoric. That's what I'm paid to say.
Healing and welcome.
Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to say in my sermons. Unless I'm doing it, you know, unless the parish, the people of, you know, the church is the people and all of that, unless the people are doing this, Why on earth are we here?
And as you say, the church, we have these buildings and these places with history and with presence and with atmosphere, and we have people. And I think it's important to just draw out that, yes, we have expertise in this project and we have resources, we have a building, but actually it isn't reliant on waiting for the next big pot of funding.
Absolutely not.
I think that's important to state, isn't it?
We have never applied for a grant. The only money that this runs on, so all the counsellors give their time for free. Carla gives her time for free. We pay £5 a morning for each vestry, light and heat to the church. That's it. And occasionally we splash out on cakes.
Wow.
That's a big budget.
Yeah. Budget
but
for that,
we
please.
we have never, and I don't intend ever to take this to a funder, because it completely changes the dynamic. Inevitably, funders have requirements, and they might not like the fact that it's in church. And, you know, we say, sorry, we don't need the money in that case. And it's just been a testament. So there's counselling. We've got this team of counsellors. The counselling the amount of counselling you have is totally unlimited. It's down to the professional view of the counsellor as to how much this person needs and to bring it to a natural close when it's time. But the fact that, you know, sort of the NHS has suffered so many cuts. I think the nearest, you know, you now get a half-hour session.
After a very long wait.
After a very long wait, and you get three
limited.
of them.
Oh gosh.
But half an hour, you're just unpacking the
going,
mess,
and
then you've got to put it all back in there. And I don't know about you, but I don't think that sounds particularly safe.
No.
So, you know, there are things that we can do and are doing through the changing room that I think are really contributing. And now, what, we're a couple of hundred clients down the line?
Oh yeah, at least,
Yeah.
It's in the last 3 months, I've just, you know, we've got about 35
New ones.
new ones. So I mean, it just doesn't, it's only small in number, but it's 35 people and their relations and whatever. You know,
going home back into their families and communities, hopefully, changed and transformed. So as we kind of come in to sort of to land here, any sort of final perhaps encouragements or tips for other churches and groups that might be thinking about doing something similar? I mean, you've given a really good picture, an encouraging picture of how you've gone about.
I think for churches, the beauty of churches is that, as I said before, it is unique, the environment, but it's more than that. People come in here and sometimes they'll just go and sit somewhere and have a little prayer if they want to do that. Or we sit down and we have a chat and we have a laughter, we have a joke. You know, it's all very informal. You know, that isn't it? There's just nobody holding a list or a pencil in their mouth. It is just come in, then the counsellor always comes and welcomes them. The counsellor will always take them back to the door to say goodbye. There's never that journey down on their own. I know there are little things, but and that is where it makes it, people are, you know, being accompanied from beginning to end, and it's just that, and any church can do that.
I think the main lessons are find out what the issues are in a community, start small, experiment, review, learn from mistakes. Failure is where success is born. Just have the courage to go for it. I mean, it's got its challenges. You know, we've had to say to GPs who very rarely make referrals, but when they do, it's usually because they've got a very high needs person who we can't cope with. So, you know, it's a matter of using professional judgment and say, I'm sorry, we can't take that client, and just being very wise. And obviously, sort of, we set up sort of safeguarding-y sort of friendly process work practices, and it's just. You know, and obviously we've over the last couple of years we've weathered COVID, which had, you know, so be ready for the unexpected. So the unexpected was COVID lands and you can't have face-to-face sessions. So Carla, bless you, with support from Stafford University, was it? Trained the group of counsellors in how to do online Zoom counselling. And, you know, Teams and phone and all the rest of it.
We never closed.
Wow.
Never closed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That was good. Yeah.
Well, that's really, really inspiring. Thank you both so much.
Thank you for coming. It's
Thank
great.
you for having me. And yeah, go for it.
Yes.
Go for it, yeah.